Hello, once again, this is Teacher. I would like to be brutally honest with you, my audience. And in doing so, I'm being as brutally honest with myself. And I have come to terms with what I'm about to say to you over the years. There's an expression, sometimes you don't know what you don't know. Maybe that applies to this particular instance, but we'll see. How many of you out there that's watching me right now believe everything that you're told by people in position, people who are in authority, people who run corporations, major corporations? How many of you believe that they all have integrity and that they are all honest people, businesses, companies? How many of you believe that? How many of you believe that the judicial system is honest and upright? The medical industry is honest and upright. The police structure or policing structure, that includes police officers, city, sheriff deputies, U.S. Marshals. How many of you believe that these people have a commitment to benefit humanity and society without any hidden agendas, without hiding something from the general population? Do you believe this? Or do you believe that they're in it to benefit from their business, their practices, and leaving you to pay the price, be it economically or financially, physically, or even with your life? How many of you believe that we can trust all of these industries? This might sound like I'm talking in circles, but I'm not. Might sound like it's redundant, but it's not. I just want to drive this home to you. And I will say this: it's difficult to believe, but sometimes we have to trust our instincts, our gut, as they say, and call it what it really is. But in doing so, while you're calling it what it is, are you doing it secretly and never acting upon your discovery? Or are you openly calling it out for what it is and saying, I'm going to do something about it, or not me? I'm not going to allow you to take advantage of me or abuse me or even take my life from me before time. Are you getting what I'm saying? Ladies and gentlemen, we've been lied to. And I know this is probably not the first time you've heard this expression. We've been lied to. Everything is a lie. We are in that matrix. That what seems to be an upright government, but there's something going on behind the scenes that we're not made privy to. They don't want us to know. Okay, I'm not going to be with you long. I'm just trying to get you to think. Did you ever realize or think how much trust you put in these companies, in these businesses, in these government entities without you having any input whatsoever? You just walking lockstep, following everything they say. because you begin to be programmed or educated from a child up, and you've just never challenged anything at all. Took it for face value, or what you thought face value was. For example, when you go to a restaurant and you buy your favorite meal, or maybe even a new meal, it could be a taco salad, it could be a bowl of soup or chili, it could be steak, it could be potatoes, it could be some form of dessert. You know what? You don't know what's in it. Do you ever ask? Do you even care? You trust, blindly trust that is, that the purveyors of that business are not going to harm you. You just automatically do it. Okay? Or you jump on an airplane flight to go from one place to another place, from one city to another city, from your city to another country even. You trust the pilot is someone that you can trust, but you never think about it. You just get on the plane. You go get your ticket, get in line, board the flight, sit back, relax, and go to your destination. Your point of destination, never even thinking about if the plane would make it there. You don't think about it, do you? You assume that everything is going to be good. We put a lot of trust in people, you know that? Or do you one better? We go to hospitals, to the emergency room. We're greeted with a receptionist and the emergency staff, nurses taking your vital signs, and then you meet up with a doctor that you have never seen in your entire life. First day ever. And you take you into their system, and you assume that they're going to do good to you and for you. How is it that you trust these people? I'm not against doctors, let me say that first. I've said it before. If it's emergency medical care that will save my life, I'm all for it. But I don't want to be taking medication for the rest of my life to manage a symptom, when I should be finding out what's causing my problem and take care of the cause to mitigate the damages. You follow? But the doctor's there, the hospital's there. They bill your insurance. For some of you who pay out of pocket, sometimes you have to pay out of pocket, a co-pay or what have you. You pay for prescription medication that you've never had before. How do we know that that medication is going to do the right thing to this organism called you, whatever your particular name is? How do you know you're not going to have an adverse reaction to taking the medication? How do you know that? There's a reason when you go into a medical facility that you sign all of these papers. It is to hold them not guilty, to hold them harmless if peradventure or by chance something were to go wrong in their treating of you. You have to sign a waiver, if you will. You have to sign an agreement that they can treat you. Why are you doing that? Because there's always the possibility that something could go wrong. You can be misdiagnosed because they've never seen you before. Until then, you can be overly medicated, or you can be given the wrong medication because they haven't seen you before and they don't know you from a bag of rocks. But you trust that they do. And guess what? If you're alive and if you have some adverse reaction to the medication that's given to you, they'll prescribe something else to offset that response. or that side effect. But understand this, comprehend this. When you walked in there, you didn't have any problems with medication before until you took what they gave you or they gave to you and administered and or injected. Do you see how much trust you put in them? They get us to take pills, potions, injections, all for what? To benefit us? But they don't know if it's going to work, do they? Do they know this? So, you trust them anyway, right? Let me tell you this story, and it's not a long story, it's just real brief, just a situation that took place in a hospital many years ago in Florida. And I just told this to someone not too long ago. It was not the first time I told the story. It was about medical malpractice in some of the nation's hospitals in different places. Note that I say earlier, you have to sign some information, some forms, right, before you're treated to protect them, right? Just in case they do something wrong or if things don't go right. But in this particular instance, there was an individual, a man. He had to go to the hospital to have surgery done. He had to have an amputation done on one of his legs. It was his leg or his foot, one or the other. And it was clearly marked which leg was supposed to be cut off. It was marked on the leg. Did you not know that they cut the wrong leg off? That happened. Okay? Now, I'm certain that they were sued. But guess what? As much trauma that man went through, as much suffering physically and psychologically from them cutting off the wrong leg, they still had to go back and cut the correct leg off that was clearly marked. That's medical malpractice at its best. Do doctors make mistakes? They do. Do nurses make mistakes? They do. Does the medical profession make mistakes? They do. And guess what? We are oftentimes made to pay for the mistakes. So, how much do you trust people? What about trusting you? What about you doing the things that you are able to do and maybe just simply are not disciplined to do or have not made yourself disciplined to do and that you were not willing to do? What about starting right now, taking control of virtually every aspect of your life that you do have the power to control? Why don't you do that right now? And stop allowing other people to abuse you, to abuse us, who we don't know. It's okay to go to a restaurant and ask the cook or the waitress or the manager what ingredients are in the food that you're about to consume that you've never had before. It's okay. It's all right. You're not putting anyone on the spot. They may not be accustomed to it or used to it, but they should be okay with it because you are a patron. You're paying their salary. You're buying their merchandise, their product, right? Isn't it fair that you know what you're consuming? Hello? Isn't it fair that when you buy perfume, that you know what's in the perfume or any other thing that you use on or in your body, that you know the composition of it? It's only right. Because if something were to go awry and you end up suffering behind it, whose fault is it? Is it theirs in the restaurant? Or is it yours for not inquiring? for not doing your own due diligence? Is it the doctor's fault that they prescribed some medication for you for a certain condition and it didn't work right? Or did it cause some adverse reaction? Maybe even injured you or hurt you? Is it their fault? You signed up for it, didn't you? Because you trusted that they would do the right thing. But they didn't know you, remember? You were new to them. This was just simply something to get you to think. Now, also think about this. Our politicians. Why do we believe them? You've never met them. You've never sat down and ate dinner with them. You've never visited their homes, nor they yours. But when they're campaigning, they're giving you all of these grand schemes, all these plans to make your life better. Ladies and gentlemen, listen to me really closely. All of the people in politics who are politicians indeed, on every level, local, state, and federal, have you ever seen them keep their promises? Have you ever seen them run on the platforms that they said that they were going to run on and address and or attack the issues that they said that they were going to once they got into office? Have you ever seen them benefit you in that regard? I'm going to answer for you. It's never happened. Now, mind you, I'll insert this. There might be a segment, a sliver of you out there to say, well, in this particular instance, they did this and that helped our community. Or that helped us really good with the unemployment issues. Hello? How great is it of a landslide? How many people did they benefit overall? Hello? We're not talking about some little pocket of individuals that sit in your community in some gated community. How did it benefit everyone who it was supposed to affect in a positive way? Or was it some marginalized group of upper class? But what about the other marginalized group? That's the working poor and the dirt poor. Even the so-called middle class now, which is almost vanquished. How did it benefit them? Or did it? It's all lies. It's all fluff. It's all smoke and mirrors. It's all acting. They're telling you what they're going to do for you and how they're going to help you as an individual, your family, and your community. It never comes to fruition. It never happens. They've been lying all along for generations and generations. And it's all about them and furthering their own personal agendas and making life better for them and their families at your expense, at our expense. They don't care about you. You don't know this already? It's all a game. They're just actors and actresses perpetrating a fraud. It's not real. So, I've ranted on just for a moment here. The whole basis of this video is this. Our lives are simply that. Our lives. And we only have one life to live. And we shouldn't be living for some company. We should not be living for some government, local, city, state, federal. We should be living for ourselves and our families. Because we are the best doctors that there will ever be. No one knows us better than us. We're the best financiers that will ever be. We need to manage our own money. Why do we need someone else managing our money? If you don't know how to, then learn. The problem is A lot of us are so lazy. A lot of us have become so accustomed to someone else doing for us what we can and should be doing for ourselves. That includes our health. We smoke. I don't. Collectively, we smoke. You damage your lungs. You receive cancer and you die. The tobacco industry knows this. Do they care about your health? Well, you ask yourself this question. Do they stop making tobacco products? Do they stop? The liquor, alcohol industries knows the onslaughts of drinking, drunk driving, killing other people innocently and yourselves. Are they going to stop or give you some education? No, they're just going to say drive responsibly, smoke responsibly, do everything responsibly, but they still rake in the billions of dollars on your stupidity, your ignorance, while they're going safely to the bank and expanding their own future and horizon. I'm sorry, maybe I'm saying too much. The problem might really be is that I'm saying the right thing. Take charge of your lives, ladies and gentlemen, before it's over. And someone else takes care of your life besides you. This is Brother Teacher. Take care. I'm out.